Welcome to our program, Community Spotlight. Thank you very much for joining us on our program today. We're quite happy to have with us today Mr. Syed Raza. He is a barrister and solicitor who practices specifically with motor vehicle liability or accidents. And so we're happy today to have him on our program where we can talk to him a little bit, get some information about what we should do and what we shouldn't do when we find ourselves in an accident, and basically find out exactly how to go about contacting someone like himself to help us in a situation. So with that, I want to welcome Syed to the program. Welcome, Syed.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Good, good. So we're glad to have you on the program today.
Same is here.
So Syed, I know you've been practicing in the GTA since about 2008, maybe roughly about 15 years or so. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your experience in this field of motor vehicle accidents.
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity. So as you explained, my name is Syed. I'm Raza. I am barrister and solicitor, mostly practicing in personal injury claims, means to say that car accident, slip and fall, trip and fall, and anywhere where any third party's negligence is involved and a person is injured because of the negligence of any third party. Let it not be alone motor vehicle accident, it could be aeroplane incident, it could be a boat incident, it could be bicyclist, it could be a passenger in a public TTC transport. So anywhere where the negligence of a third party is involved and client retainers, so we are providing services in terms of recovering the damages for their claims and as well as getting them the accident benefits claims. So our law firm is Syed Law Professional Corporation, in practice for last about 15 years or so, and we have a lot of satisfied clients practicing. Our main office is in GTA, where we are practicing in Mississauga, particularly at the airport and Dairy Road, and we have qualified staff available to deal with the claims. So my saying is that we take injury seriously. This is our mission.
But what are the first things or some of the things that an individual can do after getting involved in an accident, or what they should do?
This is the most important question. So mostly people involved into accident for the very first time. So I say to many people, if a thing has to happen, it will happen. So the thing is that when cars on road, accidents have to happen and they happens. And mostly, you know what, because of in GTA, the traffic conditions, the weather conditions, the road conditions, etc. And plus the distracted driving, another phenomenon which we are faced with nowadays. So a lot of car accidents happen, and mostly people who are injured the first time, they do not know what to do. So here are some tips. So stay calm. First of all, when you are in an accident, stay calm. The best thing you can do from the scene of accident, the first thing, if you are conscious enough, it means if you are in your control, you call 911. Means to say that tell the police that you have been involved in an accident and seek directions from them. Mostly the officer responded on time and they come to the scene of accident to investigate that. But sometimes it may happen that they are busy, they're not coming, so they advise you, they ask you that have there been any serious injuries, if there have been or not, so advise them accordingly, and if they say that go to collision center, go to collision center. But before doing that, what you need to do is that you need to take your cell phone, okay? If you cannot do that, if any passenger with you, ask the passenger, or if you cannot do that, maybe some passerby, request them to take the photos of the other cars involved in the accident, or if there are multiple cars involved. So take the photos of all cars and then take the pictures of the surroundings as well, you know, where your car ended after the accident, where the other cars are ended, and take the picture also of the intersection as well, where, you know, you see the accident happen. Because the thing is that it's when the accidents happen, sometimes the other party who basically fault is they accept their fault at the time, but later on, you know what, they backtrack. So the thing is that it is very, very important that you gather all the evidence, not to take the words of another party that, you know, it's his fault, and then So take this information, take these photographs, exchange your information and the other driver's information, take the driver's license, pictures of driver's license, take the the liability insurance slip, a picture of that, and you can also provide your documents to the other party. There is no problem in doing that. And if you feel that you have got injuries where you need to seek immediate medical attention, so you got to go to call the 911. If they ask you that you need ambulance, so please, you know what, go, get you checked up with the ambulance. And if you feel that you have some serious kind of injuries or you are feeling initially severe pain, so go to hospital as well and seek treatment. Do remember that when the paramedics are examining you, so you got to tell them all the injuries. Suppose, for example, if you blacked out while you were got the impact, so tell I was blacked out. If you are unconscious, briefly tell them, because the thing is that later on this evidence going to be pulled up from the medical, from the paramedics, from the hospital where you go, and it will contribute towards your claim. So these are the very, very initial steps. But remember that most important thing is that after doing this, that, and before you call your insurance company, call an experienced lawyer, and you can call the Syed Law Office direct cell number, which will be shown on your screen as well, to take further advice. But these are the initial steps which every person involved in the accident should do.
Now, one thing you mentioned was about, at fault when you get into an accident. How does the fault determination work? How do they determine who's at fault?
There are fault determination rules which are made by the Ontario government. And anybody can Google that. If you, on the Google, if you write that fault determination rules in motor vehicle accident, you will get that. And there are a lot of, pictures given, scenarios given, that in which situation, which party will be at fault. That's the best thing, to look at that, because there could be scenarios where you don't know whose fault is and the other party may not know whose fault is. So the best thing is that to check on that fault determination rules, and you will come to find that. But the thing is that most important thing is that there are some accidents which do not need any fault determination. For example, if I rear-end somebody, no matter what the weather conditions were, I am at fault. The most important thing is that weather conditions are disregarded in terms of fault determination. So the weather is not a factor in whose fault it was and whose fault is not was. So I cannot claim that because it was snow, I could not brake, and I rear-ended somebody else. That's not the point. The next thing is that mostly accident happened while the other party was taking a left turn and I was going straight. So definitely the one who was taking a left turn, he is at fault. And then another scenario, where he said, she said often happens is that somebody passing a green light, another person broke through the red light, and then he said, she said. So at that point, this taking evidence from the scene of accident is very, very important. And in this situation, if you have independent witness who saw the accident happen, that's come very, very important, because the thing is that it's going to be very, very critical with the purpose of liability, that whose fault actually it was. But remember that insurance companies, they have their investigations. They usually send their field adjuster to the scene of the accident, and usually they have the services of the surveillance cameras which are installed over there. They take out the data from there, and most often they determine who is at fault. But as long as the damages are consistent with your theory, what you are saying, so usually insurance company, they are fair in determining fault, and they will tell you that whose fault it is. So that's the best thing.
I see. Wow.
Thank you.
That's good. And you mentioned about snow. In this country we live in, there's always a lot of snow and ice to deal with. But now that is when you have accident. What about in a situation when you have multiple parties involved in a motor? You have a 4-car pileup. I mean, I'll give you an example with myself as well. I was driving on the highway and a car in front of me stopped, and so everybody behind him had to stop. A truck behind me came and hit me, but he came and hit me because the truck behind him hit him. So the truck behind him hit him and he came and hit me. How in something like that is determined, like liability? Who's at fault, and how is liability determined there?
Yeah, that's a very excellent question. So the most important thing is that in this situation, multiple vehicle, who basically started the chain reaction. So it's, for example, if it was the fourth vehicle who started the reaction, for example, the fourth vehicle hit the third one, and the third one hit the second one, and the second one hit the first one. So obviously the fourth one who started the action is liable for the damages sustained by all three other people. But the thing is that here comes, there could be some contributory negligence on the part of other parties as well. For example, if the first car is stopped abruptly without any reason, so that thing has to also to be seen in terms of liability, that why the first car is stopped. If the first car is stopped because he was about to get the red light and the cars in front of him stop, that's fine. Or if it was the first car to stop at a red light, that's fine for him to stop as well. But the thing is that if car is stopped suddenly in the center of a road without no reason, then obviously the contributory negligence is on the part of the first car who is stopped as well. But the thing is that the other two in between, number 2 and number 3, they obviously are not at fault because they haven't taken or any action which might have put them in any contributory kind of negligence situation. So we have to see that who was the originating party of the action, and that's where the fault will be determined. So basically the scenario you have given, the fourth one here is responsible, the truck you said.
So what about time limits? Are there time limits for filing these lawsuits?
Yeah, definitely. So there are two situations in this. So for an accident, first of all, there is an accident benefits claim, which is basically your own insurance company pays that. And it's a no-fault regime. Means to say that whether you are at fault or not at fault, your insurance company going to pay you a claim up to $65,000, or it's a catastrophic injuries, $500,000 for med and rehab and $500,000 for attendant care. So this is the first part of the claim. For the first part to start, you have to report the claim to your insurance company. They will give you a claim number. They will assign you an adjuster, and thereafter your claim will proceed. Obviously, you got to retain a lawyer because the insurance company's adjuster are very expert in that, and you have to fill in a lot of paperwork, which a person who does not know all this, they may not be able to do that. So to file this claim, basically there is 30 days time limit given in the legislation. The legislation, which is called Statutory Accident Benefits Schedule, is 30 days given in there. But you got to call your insurance company, advice of the claim, as soon as possible. And as soon as you report the accident to the police, and then you should call your insurance company as well. So that's the first part of the case. The second part is that your action against the negligent party, which we basically in the legal term call a tort action. So that claim, to file that claim, but the most important thing is that in a car accident, to file that claim, you have to start the accident benefits claim. If you don't start the accident benefits claim with your own insurance company, you cannot file a tort claim. So you have to start the accident benefits claim because all the evidence has to come from there, that what kind of damages you have sustained, what kind of medical attention you need, or you have so far, got the medical treatment, and what the benefits you still have been paid, and what remains to be paid. So that is very, very important thing, is that to sue the other party, there is Limitation Act which prescribes 2 years time limit from the date of the discoverability. Means to say that the moment you discover that your injury is of a serious nature, you have 2 years time to start an action against the negligent party. So, but roughly you take it from the date of accident, you take 2 years. For example, if accident happens on January 1st, 2023, then you have time until December 31st, 2025 to file a claim in Superior Court of Justice, because those claims are basically more than $200,000. So you got to file a statement of claim under regular process, or if you want to file a claim under $200,000 or $200,000, that's a simplified procedure. Or if you find any small claims where the limit is $35,000, you can file any small claims as well. But anyhow, the limit is 2 years from the date of accident.
Small claims. Let's talk small claims. 35,000 limit. Can someone go and file that themselves, or do they need to have a lawyer?
Yeah, basically, any litigant can represent himself. There is no binding, because the law gives opportunity to every individual who have a cause of action to sue the other party. If other party cannot afford a lawyer or does not know anyone who can help him, he is or she is at liberty to take the actions, by himself, to file a claim by himself in court of law. There is no restriction on that. But the issue is that in personal injury claims, luckily, particularly in here in Ontario, most of the lawyers work on contingency basis. Means to say that there is no win, no fee. So it's better always to have a lawyer So that lawyers are experts in that. They know how to, filing a claim is not an issue. The issue is that how you prove your injuries, how you prove the causation, because causation is very, very important. Means to say that what is the link between your injury and that incident? That's called causation. That's very, very important. So lawyers are expert in that, and maybe you may require medical experts reports. So an individual, may not get all those reports, because to prove a case in the court, you may require expert evidence in that. And experts, and an individual may not know that how to, to move around that circle. So it is very, very important that you should retain a lawyer, though there is no binding that individual can represent himself or herself.
Right. Good. So that's sort of good information, because we a lot of us feel that we can do things on our own, and so we may try to take it out. But that's a very good point you make there. The filing and the paperwork, that aspect of it is easy, and that's the part you can go and do yourself. But then how do you do the other aspects? How do you prove that it's related? How do you prove this? How do you prove that? And that's why you should get legal advice. That's something that doesn't occur to most people. They just look at the easy way out. What should an individual or a party do if they get in an accident and the other driver is underinsured, or they're not even insured? What do you do in that instant?
Again, any driver, if involved in an accident, is uninsured or underinsured, or does not have the insurance, or was not the owner of the car. First, let's take the driver was uninsured. So in Ontario, there is a regime which is called family protection coverage, which is an endorsement under the insurance policy which is given in any insurance policy we buy. So that endorsement gives the right to a driver who was hit by an uninsured driver to claim the damages from his own insurance company. Let me repeat that. Nothing is left uninsured here. This is a very, very comprehensive regime for the claims. Okay? So the own insurance company of the driver who sustained the damages will pay the claim. For example, if mother was at fault and daughter is injured in the accident, so the daughter can sue mother's insurance company. But if I was hurt in an accident by an uninsured driver, I will sue my own insurance company, and my insurance company will settle my claim as a tort insurer as well. So there is a provision in that in every policy, and we pay for that. So this is not left uninsured. What was the other part of your question?
Yeah, but before we get to the other part, so as you mentioned that part about, you can sue your own insurance. Does this apply to also if you have third-party insurance? So fully comprehensive, I know, you can take this, but if you have third-party insurance, can you still sue your own company if the other party is not insured?
The third-party insurance is basically only for the purpose of your property damage claim. For example, many people, if they want to reduce their premium, what they say that they only take a third-party insurance. Means to say that if their car is damaged as a result of their own fault, the insurance company is not going to pay them their property damage claim. Third-party insurance has nothing to do with the liability insurance or with your accident benefits coverage. No matter whether you have third-party coverage or you have full coverage, the accident benefits claim will be yours. So third party is only for the purpose that if it's your fault, your insurance company will not pay your car damages claim, they will not pay you the towing charges, they will not pay you the rental charges. But even if you have the third party insurance and somebody else hit you, you will be fully paid by your own insurance company for all the property damage claims as well.
Okay, I see. I got you. And, if the person is, it's actually in a motor vehicle accident, and the person who was wrong, who was at fault, basically, they themselves were damaged or got injured in this accident. can they then go after the insurance, or can they sue for damages?
Well, at-fault driver do not have the right to sue the other party.
Okay.
It's only when you are an innocent driver who suffered the damages from the negligence of other party, then you have the right to sue the other driver. Because to sue any person, not in car accidents, claim, in any action, you need to have a cause of action. For example, let me give you an example. If I took a loan from you and then I am not paying you, and there was a 2 years time limit, so after 2 years time limit, your cause of action has arisen. Likewise, because I am at fault, I haven't paid you the money which I owe you. Likewise, if I want to sue any person in a car accident for the damages, I should be an innocent party, means to say that it should not be my fault. Then only I have the right to sue the other driver.
Right, gotcha. How long does these lawsuits and stuff take to resolve or get settled?
Usually, as I said, that there are two parts of a claim, a car accident claim. First, the accident benefits claim, which I told that $65,000 limit, or maybe $500,000 for catastrophic. So usually these kind of claims, may settle within 2 years, 2.5 years to 3 years. It all will depend, how serious the damages are and how soon all the evidence comes up. Okay, it will depend that how much further investigations are required, because a lawyer like me is never in hurry to settle the case. The reason is that we want to make sure that the client has recovered to utmost, and now there is time, for client to have the money in his or her own pocket and then take the money, and then spend money on her own better treatment. That's the one thing. So this kind of accident benefits claim, but usually, the legislation required for the accident benefits claim, it may settle any time after 1 year, but it all will depend that. But usually, you can say very easily say that between 2 to 2.5 years, 90% of claims settle. Until and unless it's catastrophic, it may take more time. So the other part of the claim, which is basically, the tort action, when you sue the other party in superior court, that action, because that action starts mostly in most of the cases after about 1 year, 1.5 years, because we have to sue within 2 years time limit, as I said earlier. So that may take about 3 years to 3.5 years, and maybe in some cases it may take a bit more, because litigation is not always easy. Litigation is complex because we need to have all the evidence before we go into a trial. But let me tell you this, that mostly personal injury cases settle in mediation, means out of court. Because the thing is that if I was at fault, so for my insurance company, they're not going to contest that, the liability is not an issue, right? So the liability is not an issue, right. All right? Because if I rear-ended somebody, I am 100% at fault, okay? But the thing is that you need the evidence for the damages. For example, what has been the income loss, what are the injuries, how permanent and serious injuries are, what's the expert report in this, how much this person requires, for the future cost of treatment, how much this person requires for future loss of income, all these things, because this all requires evidence and it takes time. So as I said, that 3 years, 3.5 years, but 99% that has been experience of my and other lawyers as well, they settle out of court either in mediation or at pre-trial stage. Less than 1% go to trial, because trials are very, very expensive.
How's you talking about that? How much, in terms of your career, what is the largest claim you were able to settle for someone?
Well, that's basically something I would answer that. We settle big claims, means to say that we have settled claims for one single client over $2 million. So, and there are cases, hundreds and thousands of dollars, so many. But here is, a disclaimer that don't take these words as, you could be in that situation. Every case is different. And I warn here, to viewers of this show as well, that your specific case may be different from the one which I have given an example. To be your in a specific situation, what you need to do is that discuss with me, and then we can, take your claim, and then obviously try our best to get you the max. Our goal is to get you the maximum settlement. and those settlements happen before you, in front of you, while you are sitting on the table with the other lawyer, with me and the insurance company representatives.
Right, that's fantastic. So, we're running out of time here. We just have about 2 minutes again. So in 2 minutes, tell us what somebody's got in an accident. What should they look for in selecting a lawyer, to help them in their case?
In selecting a lawyer, you got to look at the experience, what the lawyer's experience is. Whether that lawyer is exclusive a personal injury lawyer, or whether lawyer, has multidisciplinary practice areas. I am not saying that anybody is bad, but what I am saying is that speciality makes you perfect. So the thing is that if a person is doing for about 12, 15 years only one thing, and he has been doing, this everyday life, so obviously that will distinguish that lawyer from other lawyers as well. Every lawyer works to the best of their ability, and it should not be taken as undermining any lawyers. All the lawyers are best lawyers. They want to protect their clients' right, but there is some specialty. For example, if you want to buy a house, you got to go to a realtor. You will not go to a mortgage broker. But if you need a mortgage, you will go to a mortgage broker. Likewise, if you need a personal injury lawyer, you need to go to the personal injury lawyer, because the thing is that they understand. But likewise, if you need to have an immigration issue, it's better, to seek an immigration expert. So that's the number one thing you should look at. Plus, see that what has been track record in terms of the service provided, and what has been, their achievements to date, what other clients say about that. Have you been referred by a word of mouth by another client, or if you are selecting based on some advertisement, or based on, your own research as well. So try to look for, one, if you are referred by word of mouth, or if you are selecting one through the, you can say that Google shopping, try to look for these things, and try to have the meeting with the lawyer. For example, if somebody comes to me and they ask me a question, I say that you come to my office, there is no consultation fee. Come and see us, what we can do for you. If you find that we can do best for you, then definitely you retain us, and that's where, we can take your claim.
But thanks a lot, Syed, for taking the time and joining us on our program today. And, it was a lot of information, and I know there's a lot more information that our viewers out there probably have and would like to get. And so how would they go about contacting you if they need you for more information, or if they have a case themselves? How would they contact you?
Yeah, so our hotline number, which you may also see scrolling on there, 416-937-5046. That is our hotline number. Anytime you can call. If sometimes that not attended, so please do text message, and then me or my staff will contact you. The other thing is that you can email our office. You can go to our website, myservices@raza.ca. That's our website, and that's the email as well. You can also contact us through our Facebook page, which is Syed Law Office. You go on there, and you can send a message from there as well. But the best way to contact is the direct cell number, which is our hotline, 416-937-5046.
Thanks a lot, Syed. We appreciate you taking the time joining us today on the program. With that, viewers, that brings us to the end of our program today. And we hope that you have learned something from our program. And of course, if you didn't and you still have questions, feel free to reach out to Syed. He just gave the number and his contact, which we will put up on the screen. So again, if you have further information, or you're looking for a personal injury lawyer, or you just want to chat about something, give him a call. And with that, we thank you and good evening.